I'm back. And my lovely wife decided to join me for this moment of
Triumph.
I thought we're going to have audio issues here because I have to try to mic us both. There we go. Triumph. I thought of it more as celebration, but I think triumph maybe fits a little bit better. So I have been waiting for this champagne for weeks. How long ago did I buy it, actually?
I don't know, a couple days ago.
Yeah, actually, I kept putting it off. She was asking me, are you going to get the champagne?
When are we doing this?
When I'm done. And I wasn't. I'll give that to the cat. Oh, that's just going to taste so good.
Is this a fancy brand?
Funny you should ask. I was going to mention it. It's not a fancy brand. It's,
Here, why don't I hold that one?
I'm not sure how it's pronounced. Frignier? What's the French word for it? But I just call it's Cordon Negro. And it's a fantastic champagne for its price. It's $11 usually for a bottle. I always drink Brut. Brut is about as dry as I'll go, and I need it to be that dry. And what a sexy bottle, right? How sexy is that bottle? Don't look at the monitor. So I recommend that champagne if you're interested in not spending a fortune getting a good bottle. But
so here we are.
This is the toast to finishing the work on the ocean boards.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. So
now all you have to do is build the crate. It's not really done.
I have that question on the script, actually. He's jumping ahead here. That is true. So I still have to build the cases for it, and I'm talking to the customer about that right now. I've presented to him with a few ideas, and those will have to travel freight, I believe, because I don't think there's any way I can pack these up into cardboard boxes and send them with UPS, and I don't trust them to be gentle. So yeah, and I said to build simple crates, although I did propose some very elaborate ones to the client, but I said to build simple crates, how long did I say it would take?
I have 3 days in my mind.
Yeah, I said 1 day. I was like, I can bang them out in a day, and she was like 3 days.
Yeah.
Which means
maybe a week.
It'll be 5, and if I do the fancy ones that I'm hoping he'll
trays and hinges.
Be okay with, I didn't
and
look at the email
door
today.
Handles.
Oh, and
he's
these
got
sexy little
ideas.
thin magnets, so they don't interfere with sliding the boards in and out. And
sounds overly complicated. But it'd be cool.
All right, this is okay. I'll talk about this during the crate building, but
right.
I spent a lot of time trying to understand hinges. So that hasn't happened, and it's never really done until the client opens the box and goes, "Oh, I love these," and they're not damaged. So there's still a little bit of a journey, but getting the boards done was the big hurdle.
Monumental.
So what are your thoughts on this journey as I've been undertaking here?
Well, it's a deep subject.
Is that an ocean pun?
I think maybe it's a well pun.
What would be, as a incredibly supportive partner, any artist that's able to survive has to have somebody very supportive. What are your thoughts on how the project went? And
I think the hardest part for you was trying to, at least from what I see, there's been missteps or difficulties along the way. But trying to get the water effects to look the way you want it. You have a vision in your mind, and difficulties with products and humidity, and then putting a layer down and not liking it because it bubbles, and then taking that all off.
We'll talk about that later.
Week of drilling, strange noises from the basement.
I had the Dremel running for
burnt
8 hours
out,
a day for
that was
10
hard.
days, and I thought I burned out the Dremel. but I took it apart and fixed it,
it.
and it was okay. And I was like, thank God.
And I think
Yeah, that happened.
that was hard to see because you have an idea of what you want,
Yeah.
and being an artist means that you're always looking at your own work and you're
Yeah.
always seeking a level that you can feel good about. And sometimes there's aspects that you just didn't expect.
Well, that's true. Using something new, I had a vision for how I want the water to look. And so I'm trying to use a new product that I've never used before. And that meant that there could be surprises,
And testing it
nearly devastating
yeah,
surprises.
and you can test it on a small square, which you may do.
Yeah.
And that doesn't replicate what this board situation looks like.
You remind me of some things that I probably need to talk about.
Those are the kinds of, you can test all you want, but when you actually are doing the real deal, it's going to come out in a different way. Sometimes that's a bonus, and sometimes it's not.
Yeah.
So it's been a long haul.
A little more champagne.
Yes.
I've been looking forward to this bottle for a long time. Yeah, having that vision and not seeing it come to fruition is difficult for me.
I'll be your wordsmith.
Thank you. And did I mention your name? Tanya.
Oh.
Tanya. And that raises a question. I don't have that on the script, actually. This is a little more candid. I often refer to
fun.
you in emails or maybe YouTube
Without
comments. Well, without a name, because if it's somebody who doesn't know, they just and I'm like, oh, I want to say, well, my wife agrees with you, but I don't like my wife because that sounds very possessive, and my partner.
You don't own me.
Exactly. Exactly. And I, I'm not your husband per se, but saying my partner, now maybe people think I'm gay, which is fine, except I'm not, so it's misleading. So sometimes I say the missus, but you don't like the missus.
I don't like the missus. Sounds old-fashioned. Sounds like we're 1950 or something, or Andy Capp comic strip, or...
I wonder how many of you are going, Andy Capp? It shows how old we are.
It's probably still out there.
It's probably still running, but what would you prefer for me going forward?
Well, I think if you've introduced me as your wife...
Okay, there's going to be somebody who doesn't watch this video who emails me.
Oh, you can say my wife, Tanya.
My wife, Tanya. All right.
Comma.
All right.
My wife, comma, Tanya.
All
comma.
Right. All right.
Don't forget both commas.
English teacher. That's fine. That's fine. I'm working hard on learning to use my punctuation properly. What do you call? Okay, I'm sorry. Wait a minute. Let's stay focused here.
So you have tips up there.
I have some things to remind me.
And then you're probably going to dismiss me, right?
I got it. No, we're gonna finish this part together.
Okay.
So how do you think I'll handle the next big project coming up? How do you feel about that?
That's a good question. I think, like any unknown, you can't account for all of the different variables. You just can't. However, you know more about, even small rudimentary testing can still tell you something.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
going to try a new product,
No,
a plastic.
Things are going to be planned to an extraordinary level for the next project.
And you're doing something now, even with the crate building, that you've got some sketches. You're doing something now that you haven't done in previous projects.
No.
Yeah, you're starting to do actual artistry sketches.
Yeah.
And if you like probably some of your viewers, you fall into a hobby or you fall into an occupation and you weren't trained to be an artist. So the idea of actually sitting down with a sketchbook and doing what trained artists would do ahead of time has come to you kind of later. And so now you're starting to do some of that pre-planning that I think will actually help you in the long run. And the sketches look awesome for the next project. Can't wait.
Oh, I'm pretty excited.
It's going to be awesome.
I'm pretty excited too. I think the monitor is running out of battery, but it's not the camera, so I think we're going to be okay.
Okay.
I got a second bottle of champagne just in case I had camera problems.
Hopefully we don't have to go through that one tonight.
Well, the next video will be a little more
Looser.
casual. A little more casual. Yeah, and so are you mentally preparing yourself for the next project in terms of dealing with me?
Well,
no, but she's going to.
Well, next week, in case you've forgotten, because dates aren't really forefront.
Oh.
We have a wedding anniversary, and it's going to be 19 years.
Well, that is not what I thought you were going to mention.
I think that I kind of roll with a lot of stuff because.
Oh yeah, 19 years.
If this was a
I thought she was going to say she's going back to teaching.
No.
No.
If this is a new relationship, it might have been more challenging. Like, what are you doing? You're spending all your time in the basement? How come you're not up?
It's a studio now.
Yeah, this is it's a studio.
It's still basement. It's both.
Right. So I think that as we move into the next phase, we'll figure it out.
Right.
I think that's what we do.
It's a bit of learning as you go, right? Little adaptation. Let's turn my head off. Get hot down here. Ooh. No, I'm not gonna. I'm getting sidetracked. It's you. It's the Tanya effect. Okay, so I also wanted to ask you. I put a few questions together. So this year I
didn't get the questions ahead of time.
No.
I do want to mention
no,
that.
no,
I could have
no.
prepared.
No, it would be. It's not. You know, it's not raw. It's not visceral that way. You know. So this summer, part of the hubbub that I do is other things like growing a giant pumpkin, which died. That's okay. I'm fine. I'll put a link to the pumpkin diary in the description down below. So if you want to go and see some photos and see all the trials and tribulations, you can go check that out. And I'm trying to really make a really nice croquet court, right? So I've been really trying to work on that. And how do you compare those activities to the way I approach my work?
Oh, that's a pretty easy one.
Oh.
You don't already know?
I think I know, but I thought I'd ask.
You approach each project, each hobby with exceptional verve and intensity.
Verve, I like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when Mike gets ready to get into something, I'm in it.
Yeah.
And that's really awesome for you to be able to do your work. It can have some unintended consequences, which is other stuff becomes background noise. You don't even notice.
Like tunnel vision. Yeah.
I've been trying to get you to turn off the basement lights when you go outside, and I had hung that sign up in the doorway, and you ducked by the sign without ever seeing it.
Yeah, it
twice.
actually,
That was pretty funny.
I had to brush it aside to get downstairs.
But never read it. Never noticed there was a sign.
Didn't know there was a sign there at all.
And I think that's a great example, though.
She came down and said, "Did you see my sign?" And I said, "What sign?"
I laminated it, punched a hole in it, I hung it with
It is laminated.
Yeah. I mean, I spent a little time on it.
Yeah. So so that took me a little while to even notice, even though it's like this.
Yeah, you have to hit it.
Yeah.
To go by it.
All right, so there we go. So
intensity, tunnel
vision, maximum achievement that I can obtain, and sometimes myopic in the rest of the world.
You know what? I would expect or suspect that there are other creative people who operate in similar ways.
Well, to be creative, you have to be kind of crazy.
I think in order to achieve, again, going back to your vision, in order to achieve what you're looking for, you got to keep your eyes right on it.
Can I have the
at the expense of everything else.
We have to wrap up this a little tighter because do you have any more questions? If I finish this bottle on camera, it's going to be a little raw.
I've had some.
Well, yeah. Let's see. Did I have anything else I wanted to ask you about? I guess maybe the last thought was, do you any open thoughts about, say, how the last 2 months have gone, trying to barrel through this?
That's kind of the same. It's pretty
the same.
similar to the other
Because
question.
my viewers have not seen me for almost 2 months.
Right, they miss you.
Well, maybe some, but it's sort of like it's been a little more intense over the last 2 months, maybe, than it has been.
Right. Well, and also in the summertime,
Right. The
you
pumpkin, the
also
croquet
try
court.
to do other things outside, and you know, again, trying to find a little bit of balance. And for you, it's like, well, let's spend a little bit of time outside because being outside is good. Being in the studio, not a lot of sunlight.
Which somebody said is probably not good for me.
I think more than one person has shared that.
So getting outside.
Being able to get outside and do another project, even if it's, kind of the way you take it on in an intense
something
level.
To tweak,
something outside.
Something to maximize, something to explore. Oh, I can't wait. That croquet court's going to be so nice. Ants. I love ants. I don't like ants in my croquet court. They're hammering the grass. It's a whole thing. I'm not going to get into it. A little melting out leaf spot as well. It's tough growing grass at 1 inch. Mm-hmm. And I want to go shorter. I want to go to a 1/2 inch. I've got a special seed, and now I'm transplanting plugs of zoysia grass. So that's right. So it's not just work. It's like whatever I tackle.
But you do each project that you tackle, whether it's for your work or whether it's for your home garden or whatever, you tackle with that same intensity and with passion.
Yeah. Well,
and how many people have you met
one of the few places
how many people have you met in the world who are just they seem to have no passion. There's no interests. There's nothing happening.
Actually.
And wouldn't we rather see people get passionate about a pumpkin or a croquet court or maybe it's roses or whatever? It's great to see.
Whenever I always say, when you go to a party and you're not sure, you don't know a lot of people, and you want to have a good conversation that's easy, ask the other person what they're passionate about. Mm-hmm. And they'll just blather on.
Unless they don't have anything.
And when they don't have anything,
you have to move on.
It's like, ooh, I'm going to move on.
It's a monologue.
Yeah.
And you're the one talking.
Which I can
you
fill
can
that.
do that.
I can fill that void. So.
Actually, we both can do a little of that.
Yeah, I think so. So,
cheers. Are we signing off?
No, before I go, I just wanted to mention that I have champagne. I just wanted to thank all of the new subscribers who have joined while I've been away. I think that shows some measure of faith, and I'm really, really glad. I want to thank you for joining. Hopefully you'll find something here that's useful, that's entertaining. This is a unique episode. So if you've just dropped in on this episode and you have nothing...
I've never been in it before.
No, this is probably...
Sometimes there's been a cat, but not me.
This is once in 8 years. So 8 years from now, we'll see Tanya again. I think this should be a regular after every big project.
After every big project.
I think it's going to have to be, because I know at the end of the next big project, I'm going to be...
Maybe we'll get...
in the same state I am now.
Maybe you'll get... ideas about the champagne that you should get for the next time.
Oh, Cordo Negro every time.
Every time?
Oh,
okay.
I love this champagne.
I don't know anything about champagne.
Oh, no.
I brew beer.
Yeah, I'm not going to spend $40 on a bottle when I can't taste the
difference.
When it's going to taste only like a $12 bottle. That's my personal. I have a whole thing about wine tasting. Anyway, so I just want to thank the new subscribers and also thank everybody who's been hanging on, waiting for me to return to the channel. This has been an unprecedented gap in video releases for me, and I appreciate you sticking around because now things are getting back on track. I've got a huge... It's actually
you have a lot of videos that you want to do, and your Patreon viewers are going to be happy to see videos.
Yeah, I've got monthly columns that I really want to get out. So I've got that. It's a crazy to-do list, It's actually makes me anxious just looking at it, but there's a lot that I'm going to chip away at.
One step at a time.
One step at a time. See how supportive she is? It's a magic thing. I don't know how I ended up like this, but I'd be on the street if I had chosen anybody else, you know? And I just want to say, though, right before we wrap up, that what I'm going to do is tack on to the end of this a few photos of the boards as a little teaser, and then the next video.
These are them here, too.
Yeah. And then the next video will dive into the actual project and some of the trials, tribulations, and victories. All right.
Cheers to your viewers.
Cheers to you. Cheers to us.
All right.
That's a journey and a half. I appreciate it. Thank you. All right. I'll see you guys soon. Oh, what I mean is, hopefully you'll come back, because you know I'll be back soon with another Terranscapes video. Going all right. It's not too bad.
You can see both voices.
Well,
on the
ow!
left there.
Hey, stop that! Ow! Stop that! There we go. Hey! 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 All right, hold that just for a second.